Hey, how y'all doing? I had to vlog this real fast, this effect that I just had. I was just sitting here, just came from the gym. It's about 6:40 in the morning, and I was meditating in the dark on the couch, just sitting there meditating, preparing myself for the day, trying to find calmness and peace and just listening to my breath and feeling it go in my nose and come out my mouth and feeling the air go into my body and sinking into peace. And as I was seeking into that peace during this detox that I am on and this healing journey, as my eyes was closed, as I'm closing them now, I saw the middle school me. It was the middle school me before the women, before the drugs, before the alcohol, before all the violence, before the prisons, before the jails, before the pain I wreaked upon so much people. It was that little middle school me. I was sitting there in the room, in my bedroom. I had my bunk bed behind me. I was playing Sega Genesis, and I was just sitting there looking at my small TV, and that middle school me was scared. It was afraid. And it was like me, the grown me, was standing at the door looking at the middle school me sit there with fear in his eyes. And the reason with that middle school me had fear, just to be honest, because I was getting beat up. I was getting beat up by somebody probably double my age. And I grabbed some scissors while he was beating me up, and I just stabbed him in the stomach with it. And that little child, that middle school version of me, was afraid of what life had to bring. And I just knew that as long as I could hurt people before they hurt me, I'd be all right. I knew I'd be all right. But now with the 44-year-old me standing at the door looking at the middle school me, I just reached out. I reached out and grabbed his hand and told him that life don't got to be so rough, that it's not going to be that hard. I told him, I'm going to walk you through this. I'm going to guide you through this. We don't need the violence. We don't need the hurt. We don't need the pain. We don't need the destruction, the self-hate. It's going to be all right. I told the middle school me that you can enjoy your youth. You can enjoy your childhood. You don't got to chase the streets. You don't got to chase money. You don't got to chase fame because it's not real. You don't got to chase clout. I sat there, I saw the middle school me, man, with the face where, you considered your teeth to be too big for your face, or your nose too wide, and your hair too nappy, and you're covered with zits on your face, and you just don't fit in with nobody. And I saw the middle school me. And I just told him, it's going to be all right. I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to guide you through it. It was a deep meditation. I just wanted to vlog this so I can remember this. This may not even be for y'all, but just so I can remember that I have forgiven myself, just like I've forgiven others. And I had to tap into meditation and fasting and prayer. And it took me to a place where I ain't been in probably 38 years, 35 years, to that middle school me, where I decided to be a savage. I give it up. I want to be healed. I just want to be peaceful. So any of y'all that's going through this, just know that you don't have to travel that road. It's going to be okay. Y'all stay blessed. Hey, what's up, y'all? I had to tap back in to really talk about the video I was making earlier, because it was so weird when I was when I was doing the meditation and when I was speaking to myself, it didn't bring up any emotional response, And when I was sitting back even afterwards thinking about it, I didn't have an emotional response tied to it. But when I wanted to vlog the event, and went out into the garage and started verbally saying the words and verbally expressing the vision I had while meditating and the trauma that I went through during that time as a child, I couldn't help but to like start crying. So I know that it is something there that really needs to be dealt with, and that younger version of me needs to be healed and forgiven and just needs to be comforted, because back then I was just a scared child that was thinking that the only way that I was going to prove my point or get away with something in life was going to be through violence. Now, I know if you listen to the story I told, I said that I stabbed somebody back in middle school. But let me tell you the background of it. So I had some older people living with us back then. They were about, I think he was about 18, could have been 17 or something. Anyway, I was in my room and I had some boxing gloves. As a kid, you know, most kids has boxing gloves. So I was in my room sitting there. I think I was like on Indian style playing my Atari game. I mean, it wasn't Atari, it was a Sega Genesis game in front of the little TV I had. And I was just playing, and he came in and got my boxing gloves off my dresser and put them on, and he hit me, you know? And he hit me in the head, he hit me in the face, and then he was like hitting me and like, get up and fight. And he kept hitting me and it was hurting. And I was like, you know, stop hitting me, stop hitting me. And I just wanted to play my game. And he kept hitting me, and you know, I was in middle school. So in middle school, we have homework and stuff. And I remember I had my little construction scissors, the ones with the dull edge. They were sitting right up there beside my Sega game. And he was hitting me and he was hitting me. And I just sat there and I reached my hand up, grabbed those construction scissors, and just turned around like this and put it right in his belly. And he stopped hitting me. But what happened, though, is at that time, as a child, I developed a concept that I needed to hurt people before they hurt me, because I didn't want nobody to hit me no more. So in my mind, I was like, okay, well, the next time I think someone is going to hit me, like when I watched him put on the boxing gloves and I knew what he was going to do, in my mind at that young age, I told myself, next time I think someone's going to hit me, I'm just going to hurt them first. And I actually took that around with me for years. I took that mentality way into adulthood. I took that mentality to juvenile detention centers. I took it to street corners. I took it to parties, to go-go's. I took it to hospitals. I took it to prisons, to jail. I took that mentality from state to state, just thinking that I had to protect myself physically and make sure that I hurt anybody that I thought was going to hurt me. I had to make sure I hurt them first. And, you know, it had some very negative effects on my life. So as I was telling the story, I was just saying that this detox journey that I'm on, it actually just started off as something that I wanted to do just to lose weight, to trim down. And then, of course, my stomach was hurting, so I wanted to get rid of that gut issue I was having. But, man, it's something else going on. It's like when I removed all the toxins, removed all the distractions out of my life, no news, no social media, no coffee, no alcohol, no marijuana. Then I started taking the food out of my mouth that I was putting in my body, like no dairy. So I removing mucus and pus and pain and arthritis. Then I stopped consuming the meat. So not having the negative effects that the meat have on us. And now I'm down to the essence with just dealing with, raw fruit and vegetables. My senses and my mind is so much clearer that, man, when I sat there and went to meditate, I literally saw that young middle school boy sitting in the room playing his game with a nose a little too broad for his face, teeth sticking out his mouth. Teeth were very crooked back then, and pimples and zits all on my face. And I saw all those insecurities, and I saw all the pain and the doubt and just wondering who I was. I didn't know who I was in Christ. I didn't know who I was. I didn't have an identity. So what I did, I had to start stealing my identity from things and people in my environment. And I stole my identity from people that were in the street. And what I couldn't steal from the guys in the street, I stole it from movies like Scarface. I know I wanted to be like a big drug dealer. Then I started stealing my identity from different rap songs and rap artists that I was listening to. And that's how I developed into the person that led me down that road, was because I stole my identity from people and from things that was just crazy. And that's when, like, when the Black Panther movie came out and they were like, "Who are you?" And they had it written there. So I had to ask myself, who am I? Who is Thurston? And this whole journey, this whole YouTube page, you can see like the last couple of years of my life on here, and it's just been a transformation, and it's just been a testimony of God's grace and peace and mercy that he used me straight out of prison to just affect and change my own life. I ain't even gonna talk about the other lives I changed, but just to have a positive impact and influence on my own life. And it's great. And another thing that I have to think about is I think about that boy that stabbed that guy. You know, I think about that time when I was kidnapped as a kid. And when that person kidnapped me, I didn't tell nobody. I got away. It's a long story. If y'all want to hear about it, drop some notes in the comment and I'll tell it. But I got away, and when I got away after he kidnapped me, I bought a gun. I know I was in high school. I had to be in like 9th or 10th grade. And I knew that in order to protect that little boy that was inside me that I was back then, that I needed to have a gun on me so this foolish stuff wouldn't happen anymore. I couldn't allow people to continuously hurt me or jeopardize or play with me or manipulate me. So I purchased a 38 revolver. And that started a spiral, you know, of once you're that young and you're in the streets and you're in that kind of lifestyle and you're running and you have a handgun on you, like, you start feeling tough. And in the midst of me feeling tough, I had to make other people know that they were weak, you know, and it was just a whole vicious cycle. And now that I'm on the journey, now that I'm here at this place in my life at 44, I'm looking back on those things. And I know in order for me to move forward on this path and move forward on this journey, there has to be like levels of forgiveness that go on, where I have to forgive myself, or I have to just, you know, pat myself on the back and say, "Dang, Thurston, you came a far way." So that's where I'm at. I just wanted to like expound on it a little bit, talk a little more deeper about what happened back then and how I felt, because when the tears were coming on the first video, I really couldn't keep my mind together because I had no intentions on crying. But that's where we're at. And, you know, just seeing myself young then, I think about my kids today, my children. You know, I have